Hi, this is Lisa Louise Cook, and in this Genealogy Gems video, you're going to be hearing from my special guest presenter, Gina Philibert Ortega. Gina and I have been longtime friends, and she's a very talented professional genealogist, lecturer, and author. It's always fun to hear about the websites that other genealogists are using, and Gina is going to share 25 of her favorite. This is a great chance for you to discover some new online tools as well as refresh your memory about terrific sites that may have fallen off your radar. So let's jump right into it with 25 websites for genealogy.
Hi everyone, I'm Gina Philibert Ortega and welcome to 25 websites for genealogy. What I'd like to do is talk to you about some websites that are must-haves for your genealogical research. Now, some of these are going to be very familiar websites, but what I want to do in talking about the familiar and the unfamiliar is to get you thinking about the familiar in a different way and getting the most out of those websites that you already use. So we're going to be looking at websites in different categories, and in some cases we're going to be explaining a little bit more about what you need to do with that website. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start by looking at websites in the category of genealogy websites. So some of these, like I said, are going to be very familiar. In fact, the first two are going to be ones that you might feel like, I already use that. But I want you to expand your thinking about using them and think about how you can use them to find things that maybe you haven't found before. So what's number one? Well, number one for me always is FamilySearch. Now, why? Well, FamilySearch is free. And so first off, that's a really great way to find stuff when it's free, right? We want to exhaust what's free and what's available before we spend money or travel or do anything like that. So for me, the first place you should always go is FamilySearch. Now, we could do a whole session on FamilySearch and all the various parts of the website. But for our time today, I just want to look at a few things that you should know and you should use every time you research. So go to FamilySearch.org, go up at that top toolbar and click on Search, and then scroll down and you will see that you can search for records, for images, for family trees, genealogies, catalog, books, and the research wiki. Now, we won't go into all of these, but I would highly recommend that you kind of check it out and maybe do some exploring. What I do want to focus on is, for one, because this is what I think you should always be using, and that's the FamilySearch catalog. Now, in the past, we've thought about this as the Family History Library catalog, right? Emphasis on library. But today, it's not just the library catalog. It's a catalog of what they have on the website, including digitized records and digitized books, but not all the books, and we'll talk about that a little bit later when we go over FamilySearch again. But basically, what are the items that FamilySearch and Family History Centers have? So you will go to catalog, and what I would recommend is that you search on the place your ancestor was from. And you're going to search in three ways. You're going to want to first search, and let's assume we'll do a US example to start. So you're going to want to do a state. So United States, California. And then you're going to want to go through all of the subjects for California, click on all of them and see what records are available. These are going to be records on a state level. Then you're going to note all of that, and you're going to go back and do a search on United States, California, and then a county. And so once again, you're going to get all those subjects and you're going to go through that. And then to end, you're going to do United States, California, and then a city or town. And then you'll go through all of those. Now, this is going to be different depending on where you're researching and what kind of records they have. So for example, in California, we don't have a lot of city records. But if I was in Massachusetts, they do have town records. So I'm going to get a little bit more. Now, you're going to do the same thing if you're searching on Canada, Mexico, Europe, wherever. You're going to start with perhaps the country, then let's say it's Canada, then the province, and then you're going to, go down from there. So I suggest you do that. Make sure that you have looked at or that you note everything that is applicable to your research before you start ordering records or going places or paying for subscriptions. Okay. Now, you can search in other ways. You can search by keyword. You can search by surname. You can actually search by more than one category, but at least start there. Here's an example if I was searching for California and then Los Angeles County. And you can see this isn't everything, but these are the various subjects, starting with archives and libraries. And I would want to click on each one and see what records are under each one of these to see what is applicable. And some of these might be online, but some of them might be at FamilySearch library, maybe a book or something. But, perhaps you can find it in another place. But what we want to do is identify anything that is applicable to our research. So here is the category cemeteries, and I've opened that up, and you can see there's 3 examples here. Now this is still for just the county. So it says Antelope Valley Cemetery, cemetery records of Lancaster Cemetery, and then LA County burial permits. So 2 of these are for specific cities in the county, and then 1 is for county burial permits. Now, what I would want to do is if I was looking and researching a different city, I would want in that next search to do Los Angeles County and then whatever city, maybe LA, and see what is under the cemeteries category. That's why you want to do the 3 different searches and not just stop at 1. Now, the other thing I want to point out before we go on to another website is the FamilySearch Research Wiki. Now, I find this incredibly useful when I'm researching a place that I really don't know very well. You can put in, let's say, California genealogy, and it will tell you about California. It'll give you some maps. It'll give you some dates. Over on the right, you'll get record types. You can do this with a country. You can do this with a state, with a province, but you can also do searches on specific record types, specific records in FamilySearch. So you can do all kinds of different searches. There's over 101,000 articles, so there's going to be something that's going to help you. This would be especially important if you feel stuck doing a search on the place and seeing what kind of suggestions and records that they have on the wiki for you to think about. Now, the records themselves won't be on the wiki, but the links will. So for example, here's Massachusetts genealogy, and I searched just for Massachusetts genealogy. And you see over on the right, it says wiki topics, and it includes some beginning help, but also record types. And I can click on each of those record types and learn more. And it will also give me links for those records on FamilySearch, but also on other websites. So it's really helpful as you're researching. All right, enough about FamilySearch for now. We actually will come back to it later in our list. But let's now go to another familiar website, and that's number 2, Ancestry. Now, don't worry if your Ancestry interface doesn't quite look like this. They are currently doing different things to the homepage, and so it's possible that yours doesn't look like this. So just know that Ancestry, like other websites, are constantly evolving. One of the things I want you to think about is how do you search Ancestry? Most likely over there on the right, you may search by that homepage search. And that's okay, but that's not meant to get everything. So keep that in mind. You can start that way, but there's other ways to search the website. Now, I also want you to take note at the upper left corner. Now, for some of you, because you may be on the old website, you haven't been transitioned over, this might be a big black toolbar at the top. For me, it's no longer that way. But notice at the top, you have your trees, you have search, memories, and DNA. If you go to search and then you go to the drop-down menu, notice all the different ways that you can search. You can search by all collections, which is exactly that. It's an advanced search. It includes a map with where you can select the place you're researching and see what records exist for that place. I highly recommend that, because what I find is people get frustrated with Ancestry because they can't find something, but they haven't looked to see if Ancestry even has it. So going to all collections, scrolling down and choosing a place, whether that's a country or a state or a province, and obviously it also depends on what your subscription level is, that can tell you what they have. But also notice that they have a card catalog, and that's what my red arrow is pointing to. I showed you the catalog on FamilySearch, and just so you know, pretty much all genealogy websites have a card catalog. So here's Ancestry's, and as of a few days ago, they had 33,000 databases. Now this is going to go, it's going to change. It's going to ebb and flow. Sometimes they get rid of databases, sometimes they add databases, but this is what they had when I took this screenshot. You can use this in a few ways. You can put in a keyword or a title. Now I will just warn you, if you don't know the exact title of the Ancestry database, it will not find it. It is not a forgiving search. So I typically use keyword, and I try to be kind of broad. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you may know what a record set is called, but Ancestry calls it something different, so keep that in mind. Now, you could also filter, and you can filter by a collection, which is up at the top, a location, and a time period, which you can't see right now, but it's lower down on the page. That will also be a great way for you to learn more about what there is available. So for example, I could choose birth, marriage, and death. Then I could filter it by USA. Then I could filter it by a state, and I can go from there. So you can play around with this to see what they have that might be useful for you. In some cases, Ancestry has collections that you may not know about because they're not name searchable. So playing around with these filters can help you find really gems that Ancestry has that we don't always know about. All right, let's go to number 3. Now, number 3 is another genealogy website, and that is FindMyPast. Now, FindMyPast is based in England, and, it's a website that you may think, well, I don't have English research, but it does have American records. If you haven't been using FindMyPast, I suggest you go on the website. You can sign up for a free account and kind of see what they have. They might have stuff for England, but also the US and other countries. So try that. You can also go to a family history center or a family search center run by FamilySearch, and you can use it for free there as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of these genealogy websites have a library edition. You can see here's my page on FindMyPast, and right now this is my free account. And you can see up at the top there's a search, so you can click on that and you can search their records. They have a homepage search, they have some facts, they have a little bit of everything. Now keep in mind that websites change. You may remember that FindMyPast had Percy, the periodical source index. They no longer have that, or if it's still on your account, it's an older version. Basically, they don't have it anymore, and it is now on the Allen County Public Library's Genealogy Center website. So keep that in mind, that just because you're familiar with a website from 6 months, a year, whatever, that it changes. Now, when I went up to that search at the top, this is their kind of card catalog. It looks a little different than Ancestry's, and that makes sense. Over at the left, I can go ahead and narrow down my search to specific subject categories, just like I can on Ancestry. So this might help me to see what do they have that I need that I can't get in other places. All right, let's move on to our number 4 genealogy website, and that's MyHeritage. Now, most of these genealogy websites have similar services, right? You look at MyHeritage and FindMyPast and Ancestry, they all have trees, for example. Ancestry, MyHeritage has DNA tests. So like all three, MyHeritage also has a card catalog that they have called Collection Catalog, and it's under Research. So you can see that they have over 7,000 collections. You can search at the top right where that little magnifying glass is. You can filter by contents on the left. You can, just like on Ancestry's card catalog, you can filter by collection and then by location. So that's another way to avoid that frustration and find out what they have that you may need. So here's an example. This is one of the collections they have. It's called U.S. City Directories. Now, as you know, Ancestry has city directories as well. And so just because both have a similar collection doesn't mean it's the same. So you might want to look at both and see what they have that is useful for you. And just like on Ancestry, you can search by a name, by a place, and you can add other details as well. All right, let's move away from genealogy websites and let's go to finding aid websites, things that can help you find stuff.